So in this video, we're going to talk about the RaceDay real-time chip and GPS integration setup. So the first part of this setup is to set everything up on the RaceJoy side. Now to use RaceJoy, you have to be RaceJoy certified and go through the training of how to load in your maps, set up the timing configuration, all the basics. So if you aren't certified, send an email to info@racejoy.com and ask to be certified. But in this video, we're going to assume everyone here is a RaceJoy certified timer and knows how to load in a map and set up the basic timing configuration. So we've already done this for this map. And so the first step is essentially telling RaceJoy which mile markers are you going to be placing timing mats for. So in scenario one, we're going to assume that you as a timer are going to be placing timing mats and split mats at official mile markers. So mile marker 1, 2, 5, 6, or 7, so on and so forth. So we've got this course loaded into RaceJoy, and what you'll simply want to do is come into the timing configuration, and there's going to be this new column called timing only. So wherever you have mats placed down, so your start, your finish, and maybe you've got a mat at mile 6, you'll simply check on that column for those specific locations. So in our example, let's say we have a official timing mat at mile 6, and we have a timing mat at the start and the finish. So we'll check on timing only for those locations, and then we'll hit save. And for races where you're adding split points to mile markers, this is all you really have to do on the RaceJoy side. There are little caveats where you will want to make sure that the mile markers on the map are in the exact locations where your timing mats are going to be placed. So if you close out of the timing configuration, as we've taught you during the certification, you can always click on each marker and move it around. So you'll just want to make sure that you're moving the markers to the exact location where you're going to be placing mats down. So the second scenario we're going to run through is going to be a scenario where maybe you're only adding one split mat at maybe, let's call it a halfway point. So in our example, we have a half marathon here. So you're going to be adding a timing mat at mile 6.55. So it's not going to be on a official mile marker location. So as we've talked about through our RaceJoy training, we've talked through how to add additional markers. So you'll simply add an additional marker onto your course. So again, just a quick recap, you'll select the add marker tool in the top right-hand corner. Once you do that, your cursor will change to a crosshair, and simply click on the map one time. And once you've added your marker, come back up to the top right-hand corner and select the hand tool to stop drawing essentially. Click back into the marker. Give the marker a name. So let's call this halfway split. The category will be a audio marker 1 at the very bottom. Give the title the same name, halfway split. And let's give it an icon of the stopwatch icon. Second row, third column, yeah. And then select calculate distance and click on the check mark for save marker and add a timing configuration, and then click on the distance, we'll use 6.52. And now you've added the marker onto your map. So similar to what we did earlier, come back into timing configuration. And let's uncheck timing only for mile 6. And let's check on timing only for this halfway split point. And let's also turn on progress alerts and audio pace, because we want the spectators and participants to get notifications when they reach the halfway point. Now, it's important to understand, and especially with this integration with all of our chip data, that the spoken name location for any additional points you're adding makes sense for the spectators and participants. So sometimes when you add a marker to RaceJoy, it'll be automatically set up for you as Q6.52. in those cases, just make sure you're changing the spoken name location to something that makes sense, because whatever you type in here is going to appear in the app saying, so-and-so has reached the halfway split. Here's their time. Here's their, estimated finish time and everything like that. So just make sure that this spoken location name makes sense. Yeah. So watch out for that bear. I don't think that would make sense.
No. But it'd be fun.
It would be fun. But we'll keep it as halfway split. And then we'll go ahead and save that. Now, a scenario that you may run into is if you are using one set of timing mats to collect multiple splits. So maybe you're using one mat to collect the split on the way out and using that same mat to collect the split on the way in. Now, in RaceDay Scoring, you really only need one location, and you can say this location is going to collect 2 occurrences of data. So on the way out, we're going to use occurrence 1, and on the way in, we're going to use the second occurrence. If you're in that scenario, in RaceJoy, you have to add multiple markers for that one timing mat. So for example, we've already added the halfway split, and that's at mile 6.52, and that's on the way out. As runners are coming back in, as a timer, you're going to use that same mat and collect an additional split point, let's say at mile 10.5. So in RaceJoy, even though it's one timing mat out there, but it's 2 occurrences, you'll want to add a second marker right at that same location. But if you just click on the icon, and we'll click calculate distance, and we'll again save marker and add a timing configuration, and then we're going to use 10.69. So you'll want to add a second marker to RaceJoy. Now, if we come back into the timing configuration, again, we'll want to say, hey, at this Q 10.69, this is going to be a timing only. So let's check on timing only because we have mats there. So we want to send data from scoring to RaceJoy for this marker. And then we'll also check on the audio pace and progress alerts for that specific marker. If you happen to leave this blank, anytime you check on timing only for certain markers, we're going to automatically check on progress alerts and audio pace on, because we want participants and spectators to get notifications whenever they cross that specific location. So like we just mentioned, if you're adding a marker and having RaceJoy automatically do it, we're going to set up this marker as sort of a queue and then whatever distance you select. So again, you'll just want to make sure you change the spoken location name to something that makes sense. So let's call this maybe 10.69 split. And then we'll go ahead and save that, and that'll be good. So once you've got all your markers added and you've checked on which markers are timing only, go ahead and save your map, save your configuration, and I would recommend that you certify your map at this point. Once this is all done, you're going to move over to RaceDay Scoring and essentially map timing locations to all of these markers that you've set up for timing only. And we have another video that walks you through how to do that.